Hey everyone, this is Dr. Nikki Weiner, co-founder of the Rising Workplace. My goal today is to create for you a short webinar that's a resource to people who are new to working from home. I hope that I can provide for you some tips to set up an ergonomic workstation in the home environment, and also just some general rules to increase physical health and mental health in these trying times. Okay. So this is a new challenge for all of us, and I think it's a time to really step back and focus on our basic self-care a little bit. Setting up a workspace at home that's comfortable and leaves you feeling good at the end of the day goes a long way in terms of quality of life. If we can feel at the end of our workday that we're not drained or uncomfortable, I think that we'll be able to enjoy the time that we have with our family and the time that we have to do our activities outside of work. And that's really important right now in these unpredictable times. There's a lot of research on ergonomics and why it's good for our bodies. Basically, when we work in neutral postures and we move throughout the day, we're increasing our body's circulation that opens up our nutrient pathway. This is a system that eliminates waste in our body, the stuff that really makes us feel run down and fatigued. And when our blood is flowing optimally, there's not damage to our body's tissues, and we don't develop pain that we would if we're sitting in awkward postures and working in awkward postures. So bottom line, ergonomics is good for us physically and mentally. And ergonomic injuries are pretty prevalent. So 80% of office workers report work-related aches and pains, and it's estimated that 33% of workplace injuries are preventable through better ergonomic design. Dr. Alan Hedge, who is an ergonomics guru out of Cornell University, says, and I think we all agree as ergonomic specialists, that prevention is better than reaction. So if you're not experiencing any aches or pains right now, I think that's great. I think now is the time to kind of pay attention to that if you desire longevity in your work, and if you want to continue to rely on the technologies that we use every day, including smartphones, and computers, and tablets. We are increasingly reliant on these, and they tend to put us in awkward postures that can cause us some discomfort. The common discomforts for office workers are neck, back, forearm, wrists and hands, things like carpal tunnel, eye strain is a big one, and also just general fatigue. So I want to start off with just a few general recommendations for setting up an ergonomic workspace at home. If this is brand new to you, kind of where to start. First off, I recommend using a single dedicated workspace with a table and chair. And it might be up to 2 dedicated workspaces, but the idea here is that you're not blending personal life with work life. So not working from the couch or the bed, or as tempting as that seems, and you want to draw a line that helps you create better work-life balance when you're working at home. You want to find a chair that has some amount of back support, which we'll talk about later. Choose a space that's well lit, and if you don't have exposure to natural light, try and find a balance of lighting tones that feels good to you. So not harsh fluorescent lighting, but a well-lit space that is conducive to the type of work that you need to do on a daily basis. You want to choose a location, of course, that minimizes distraction and noise. This is a challenge if we're homeschooling children, but thinking about, there's good and bad noise. So good noise would be like continuous white noise sound, a fan running. Like you could use that to mitigate some of the other sounds in your home, whether it's the garbage truck coming by to pick up trash, or it's a child screaming in the background. We want to be able to kind of mitigate and control noise when we can, and choose a space that will allow us to focus. You also want to personalize your space. The idea of positive distractions like a houseplant or a piece of art or a photo that brings you joy, those types of things help redirect our attention when we're hard at work. And so it's really a myth to say that a very lean workspace helps us focus more. A lot of us working from home are using laptops, and I want to caution against prolonged laptop use without using an external mouse and keyboard. The reason being, of course, the screen will be at a level that will have you looking down all day. And then, chances are the keyboard is pretty small, and so you're kind of having to kind of crunch in, and your shoulders are rolled and down, and creates a suboptimal posture. So if you have a laptop, go ahead and pull out that external mouse and keyboard and hook it up, and then bring your laptop screen up higher so the top third of the screen is about eye level. My third tip here is being cautious of ergo fads. So you might be excited to be working at home and you really want to get a good setup going. And so you go on Amazon and you try and find the ergonomic keyboard or the ergonomic mouse pad, and just know that, products on their own are not ergonomic. And they might be really not ergonomic. I mean, ergonomics has much to do with the fit between the worker and the environment and the tools that you use. So just because something is labeled ergonomic, it doesn't mean that it's the right product for you. So really be careful and cautious in that. The perfect example being ball chairs. I think a lot of people automatically think they're ergonomic, but a chair like that, as pictured here, it is not adjustable. It doesn't have lumbar support. And really, if you worked in that position all day long, you might develop some discomfort. My fourth tip is to remember to take rest breaks and kind of embed this into your daily routine. I'm going to take a short break every 20 to 30 minutes of static posture. So if you're sitting for longer than 30 minutes, it's time to get up and just grab a drink of water or do a quick stretch. And speaking of daily routine, you want to find a routine that works for you and that's feasible. Start your day by getting ready for the day. It doesn't mean that you have to put on your finest business casual, but at least wash your face and put on a clean pair of sweats. Again, this helps with the boundary, going from personal life to work life, if you have a routine that involves getting ready for the day. And then, the other side to that is at the end of the day, turning off work. So it can be really tempting when you've got all your work stuff at home. Check your email one more time before you go to bed, but really find a boundary and a line when you can just turn it off. And I think, again, that helps us with our work-life balance this day and age. If you have distractions in your home, like a child, try and align your schedule to the schedule of the child. So, for example, if you're having to take a difficult conference call at a certain time of day, kind of write out your child's schedule for the day so that they have some self-guided independent activity during that time. And then also use schedules to enjoy more time together. So, take a walk outside together. So align your schedules in a way that allows you to do that. So let's talk about fitting yourself to an ergonomic task chair. I know that not everyone will have an ergonomic task chair at home, so I'm going to try and come up with some creative solutions for those of us who do not have a fully adjustable chair. First off, you want to sit with your feet supported, resting your feet on the ground. So if you're unable to do this in your chair, you can use a footrest or a sturdy box or a bin of sorts. Otherwise, you want to adjust the height of your chair so that your feet are on the ground. I'm going to make sure that you've got at least 2 fingers width between the back of the knees. This is a high circulation area here in the back of the knees. I'm going to make sure the blood keeps flowing there. In the back of the seat pan. So if this part of your body is getting squeezed, you want to either come forward in the chair using a seat pan adjustment or like a lumbar cushion that will bring you forward a little bit. Same thing on the side of the thighs. So you don't want to have compression on the tissue here. You want to make sure that you've got a little space so you're not pressing against the body's tissues. You don't want to perch forward in your chair. You want to sit back up against the backrest, so our lumbar spine is supported. You might have an adjustable lumbar area to your task chair that you can move up and down to match your lumbar curve, or you might need to be creative and use a towel roll or a small cushion to support your lower back. And then if you have armrests, you might want to make sure that you It's been a level that your arms are relaxed at your side when you're working and they don't interfere with your desk. If they are not adjustable and they do interfere with your desk, you could see if you can flip the chair upside down, get out a screwdriver, and just take them off. For the rest of the workspace, you're going to make sure that the mouse and the keyboard are close to your body so you don't have to excessively reach. This I see a lot, and this basically means when your arms are at your sides, your elbows kind of tucked in, that you should be able to reach your mouse and keyboard by doing this motion and not by reaching your arm up at all. And in order to do that, you might need to raise your chair up. You want to keep frequently used items within an arm's reach so you're not having to bend and twist your body awkwardly, for example, to pick up the phone. The monitor should be about an arm's length away. And basically this is so you're not, and it might be slightly different person to person, but you don't want to have the screen in a place where you're having to hunch forward to view it or, pull back to view your screen. The top third of the screen should be about eye level. The idea here being that you're not looking up or down to view the screen, because over time you will have an inflammatory response and neck pain. Monitor should be centered in front of you again, because if you're typing all day long with your neck turned, over time that's going to turn into pain. The exception with the monitor height would be if you were bifocals. That's going to be slightly different for you. So you need to find that level where, again, your neck is in neutral position. So speaking of neutral position, here's a few examples of what it looks like to sit in neutral position, as I just explained, basically meaning that your workstation is set up so you don't have to twist or bend your neck while you're working. You have your arms close to your body, as I demonstrated, shoulders relaxed, your wrists are straight. So when you're typing and keying, your wrists are not up like this. Take a look at what your wrists are doing when you're typing. Or down like this, or not turned in or out. You're going to keep your elbows and your knees and your hips at approximately 90-degree angles. Generally, you don't want the knees above the hips at all, so if the hips can be slightly above the knees, that's good too. And your feet planted on the floor or on a footrest. So let's see what this gentleman has not learned. Okay, so he looks very happy now, but I'm afraid that at the end of the day, he's not going to feel very good. Looks like his monitor is quite low. He's having to kind of look down and hunch forward to view it. His shoulders are rounded and he's kind of bent forward in a way where he's not sitting up against the backrest. His chair is quite low, so that's why his wrist is bent like that. His arm is away from his body, so he really needs to pull in and get close, bring the keyboard back so that he can use his mouse and keyboard without his arm away from his body. And his lower back isn't supported. So these are really easy fixes he could do right on the spot here. He's perching in his chair. All he has to do is scoot back a little bit. The wrist problem would be solved by raising up the chair a little bit. Keyboard is too far away. You just bring that closer in. Bring the chair closer in so his arms aren't away from his body. Center the monitor and put that laptop up on a stack of books so that he can view it at the right eye level. So neutral posture is working from home. This guy looks really comfortable, but again, this is really blurring the line between personal life and work life. You want to avoid working in spaces that would otherwise put you at ease and make you feel restful. And especially when we're indefinitely working from home, I think it's a really good rule to keep. But he's got a downward gaze because the screen is down on his lap, and then his wrists are bent up, again, because of the position that he's in, which puts undue stress on his carpal tunnel area. And then here's an example of somebody who managed a lovely home office setup using some creative solutions. And this person has attention to getting some natural light in their office, thinking about a comfortable thermal zone while working. They're using an external mouse and keyboard. And this monitor riser just looks like a little storage cabinet, so it doesn't require anything fancy other than just, something 6 to 8 inches high, basically. She has a footrest. These are typically, less than $20. And she does have an ergonomic task chair, looks like it's pretty adjustable there. So she's able to achieve a neutral posture working at home. If you want to try and do some standing during the day, that's good, but you want to make sure that you're set up ergonomically again so you don't set yourself up for injury. This lady here is bent over with her head down. Clearly, this would not be a comfortable position to work in for a prolonged period of time, whereas this person has really made a setup that will work. She's a monitor riser, and it looks like just a box that she has the keyboard on. I think you know, maybe if that was 2 inches higher, she might really be in good shape, not to be picky. But you know, she's working in a standing position in a way that is not obviously going to put a lot of strain on her back. So how much sitting and standing should we do during the day? This again comes from Dr. Hedge. Basically, as I said before, every 30 minutes, you should have a change of position. It doesn't mean going sitting, standing, sitting, standing. It just means a movement break of some type. In an 8-hour workday, it's recommended that you sit 5 hours and stand 2 hours, but I don't think that's going to be true for everyone. I think you do these things as tolerated, and what feels good to you and what works for you is dependent on a lot of different factors. But you know, listen to your body, take frequent movement breaks, and stretch during the day as well. We want to stretch the most vulnerable areas for office workers, and that of course is our wrists. So doing some good wrist flexion and wrist extension stretches, holding them for about 10 to 15 seconds each. Standing up and bending, hinging forward at your hips to stretch your hamstrings, because that is a muscle that gets very tight with a lot of sitting. So make sure we do our hamstring stretch. Our lower back, simply placing your hands on your hips and leaning back to stretch your lower back. And neck and shoulder, again, we tend to kind of hunch forward with our technology. So a stretch that really brings us back and opens up the body is going to be really beneficial. So, you know, squeezing your shoulder blades together, looking up at the ceiling and just holding it there in that nice big open stretch. These stretches came from the back school, which is a really great resource for anyone wanting to learn more about ergonomics. They're a really trusted ergonomics education provider, and I know they've got some good webinars coming up as well. I want to talk briefly about eye strain. So that's another risk of using a screen all day. The best rule to combat this is the 20-20-20 rule, which basically means look at something 20 feet away every 20 minutes for 20 seconds. That kind of allows our eyes to accommodate and helps the problem of eye strain. The alternative to that would be simply every 20 minutes closing your eyes for 20 seconds. So whatever you need to do that, you know, whether it's set a timer or just put a little post-it note reminder for your eye breaks and your movement breaks. And then at home, you just have to be creative. You know, like I said, you don't need to buy a bunch of expensive equipment to have an ergonomic setup. I've talked about a lot of these along the way. So if you need more lumbar support, just fashion a towel roll or a small cushion. You can use a box or a stack of books to raise up a monitor. Make a footrest out of a box or a bin. Use white noise, or, you know, so you're working in the kitchen and it's a high traffic area, you could put on the fan in the microwave or the oven to kind of have that continuous noise that helps filter out some of the distractions in the house. I love to use my headset for calls because no matter what's going on in my environment, I can hear what the person is saying and the person can hear what I'm saying. So a headset is a low-cost device that will help with, especially people that have to take phone calls at home. The other thing is, you know, attention to our feelings of fatigue and mental health. We want to think about those positive distractions that help reset our attention, and the impact of good natural lighting, which is great for our sleep and our mood and our regulating our circadian rhythm so that we can be more restful during our rest times. So making sure to bring the outdoors in when you can, whether it's through natural light, even a painting of a nature scene or a house plant. Some of these plants have been shown to clean our air and actually scrub our air of bacteria and viruses. And if you don't want that right now, there's really nothing better than that. So just trying to personalize and put things around us that are bring us joy and make us feel healthy. So if you want some additional resources, I'd point you to any of these. You can connect with me at therisingworkplace.com or email at connect@therisingworkplace.com. This is Dr. Nikki Weiner. I hope you found this helpful. Best of luck to everyone out there. Please be attentive to your self-care during this time and set up a space that allows you to do your work comfortably. Take care.